Would you like to keep your marriage fresh? Hello everyone, we're going to try it again here. Our signal dropped here just a minute ago. But would you like to keep your marriage fresh? We have been talking about meeting each other's needs. Welcome again to another session of Walking with Randy. I'm Randy Carney, and we talk about writing, speaking, coaching, marketing, and marriage when we do these Walking with Randy videos. So today we are talking about marriage again. And so we're talking about steps toward meeting each other's needs. When your needs are met and when your spouse's needs are met, what a wonderful thing it is in your marriage. Oh, you have your ups and downs, but you have a thrilling marriage and a very fulfilling marriage when both of your needs are met. Now this doesn't happen by accident though. We have to be proactive sometimes in causing these things to come about. Well, we're talking about some steps toward meeting each other's needs. So in a previous video, we talked about making a list and then ranking that list in the order of importance. In the last two videos, we have been talking about using that list to our best advantage in our marriage, to enhance our marriage, to make our marriages sparkle. And in the last video, we talked about recognizing the value of your spouse's opinion. You may find that you have a certain need way up on your list, and she may have it way down toward the bottom on her list. That doesn't mean that one is better than the other. No, you recognize and value each other's opinions. It does give you an opportunity to have some discussion that you may not have previously done on topics like this. So you recognize the value of each other's opinions, and then you work toward meeting your spouse's greatest needs. If there have been areas and things that you have neglected, you have a new emphasis upon what you want to try to do in your marriage in order to meet your spouse's needs. And likewise, your spouse will do the same for you. Well, here's another way to use those lists, and it is to review your lists. By reviewing your list, I'm talking about two different things. One way to review your list is to put it in your Bible, or put it in a book that you're reading, or put it somewhere where you will see it often, and you will review your spouse's interpretation of what is his or her most important needs in his or her life. You review it whenever you do that. But you also review this by going through the process again. And you should do that at different stages in your marriage. So you review these needs again, but you also go through the process of the ranking again. The reason for doing that is that life just changes. So we'll think about some life stages that are related to children. So if you're in the before children stage, then that is a good time to make your list, do the rankings, trade the list, and then begin to work toward each other's needs. But then children come along. Now, it may be that you and your husband or wife do not have children. Well, most of the people your age probably will have children during that life stage. And this is a good time for you to, again, redo your list to see if anything has changed. It may not change as much as for you folks as it would for those who have children. And then we have what we might call the empty nest stage of life. That's another change. And it is a time whenever life has changed so much that your ranking of how you feel about those felt needs may have changed. And your spouse needs to know that. If you have a new number one need, your spouse needs to know that. Or if yours has changed, your spouse needs to know you've changed your mind about what's important. And then another life stage would be what we might call a retirement, or I refer to it as the later ministry stage within our life. But see, your circumstances have changed, and so those are 4 different times when those are good times to review your lists about felt needs. If you haven't done that yet, go back to the previous blog post where we talk about making a list and go through the list and do it yourself. Okay, reviewing our list, there are other life changes, life stages that are not related to children, but life stages related to finances, careers, or jobs. It may be that at one time when you filled out your list, your finances were very low. And so financial security may have been very high on one or the other of your lists. And yet if you are comfortable now, that may not be quite as high on the list. Or it may come to a point where you have come to financial peace. Or you could come to the point to where one or both of you have lost jobs. Well, that would probably make a difference in that area of your ranking. So I would urge you to go through those lists again at that time. Now, you may have a career change, or you may not change a career completely, but you may get a different job within that career category. And yet, when you come to a different job, it may have different time demands. And that will be very important for you to consider how you're going to work through these time demands and how your spouse feels about it. And if it's going to demand more of your time, how are you going to work that out where you continue to have good quality time with your husband or wife? Or if you end up having a whole lot more time than you did before, your needs likely will have changed. It's a good time to go through the list again. And then there are life stages that are related to your own personal maturity, your own growth, maybe renewed focus, or to spiritual growth within your lives. Whenever it comes to maturity, when you are very young, your needs, perception of needs, may be quite different than it is after the two of you have gone through some storms. And those storms may not have been caused by either of you. It's just by life events. But having made it through those storms together, you have grown within your lives. And your priorities may end up being different than what they were when you filled out that list in an earlier stage in your life. So you have maturity. You have also, though, where maybe you had a time when you decided we are really going to focus on our marriage. And so you had a renewed focus. And you've gone through and your marriage has just become better because of your renewed focus in that area. Well, after having done that for a while, then it would be a good time to go through the exercise again. Again, rank those needs in order of importance to yourself, and then you and your husband or wife will trade those lists again. And it gives you a means for further discussion, and it gives you a basis for how you're going to focus your life in the next few years. because you really want to please your husband or wife. So periodically, you have maturity, you've had renewed focus in your marriage, and you may have new spiritual growth. If you did not know the Lord whenever you first filled out these lists, and then later you came to Christ, your priorities will probably change somewhat. Or if you had a new stage of spiritual growth in your life, and both of you have a new commitment in that area, or if it's changed for one or the other of you, this is a good time to go through the process again and then look at your current status of how you feel about what is important to you in your life. Trade those lists, discuss if you need to, but then focus on doing what is best for your spouse. Redo the list periodically as needed throughout your life. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you. If you would like more tips like these, you can go to randysblogs.com or randycarney.com. It will take you to the same place. Then you can go to the top of the page, find the word marriage, and you can find blog posts related to the topic of marriage. Also, there are some books on Amazon. You can do a search for Randy Carney or Dr. Randy Carney, and you can find some books related to marriage there on Amazon. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you. And until next time for another session of Walking with Randy, I wish you the best in your marriage.